From the land of Lincoln, a doozy of a tax hike that could be just minutes away. The governor of Illinois is set to hike the state's income tax from 3% to 5% with the swish of a pen. That would be 66% in one day. My next guest likening it to living next door to The Simpsons. Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels joining us now. Governor, that's a big jump.
It is, Neil. I believe in self-governance, and people are entitled to as much or little government as they want to vote for and accept, but I'll just say it's a very, very different view of the world than we have in Indiana, where we spend all day, every day, trying to get the cost of hiring people down. And when I see a next-door neighbor raising the cost of hiring people in so dramatic a fashion, I think probably it's going to lead to a little gain in market share for us over time.
Has it already? Have you seen any either business types or even individuals say, all right, well, if I have my druthers, I'm going to go, in this case, to Indiana?
Yeah, we've been successfully recruiting Illinois businesses, and we've seen some in-migration of people, and that's, of course, before this latest increase that they've imposed over there. But again, not for us to judge. I will just say that we have a very, very different view of the world. We believe that maybe the first task of state government is to build the very best business climate possible, the most inviting one to investors and risk takers, and we work all the time at trying to lower the cost structure of those people who might come here and hire Hoosiers.
The argument against making spending cuts the only option for governors to close budgets, in the case of, Jerry Brown this week having to look at a $27 billion gap, and he says he can't do it alone on spending cuts, so he's entertaining extending some tax increases and the like. And others, like Governor Quinn in Illinois, looking at this, is that you can only go so far cutting. Do you think there's a limit to how much you can cut?
Oh, in theory, but it's been our experience here in Indiana that you'd be amazed how much government you don't miss. Spending here in Indiana has been one-third the rate of inflation. It's less than 1% a year over the last 6 years. We now have, I think, the third lowest spending per capita in the country. But I can prove to you that all vital services are being performed not as well but better than before. Now, that was our experience. Some of these other states have got themselves in such incredible holes. Some of them have these enormous pension overhangs on top of the excess spending they've done. So it's not for me to sit here and say that what worked for us will work for them. I guess if they're in a position where, states, of course, can't print money, can't beyond some limit, can't go borrow it. And so if some of them are in such a fix that they have to look at revenues, then I would expect them to look at those that don't weigh against economic growth, consumption or sin taxes, these sorts of things. When you start taxing people's income and you start taxing businesses in this way, you better count on the inertia, and there's a lot of it, that might keep businesses in place.
Does that extend, Governor, and you're mentioning that small pool of those who could be a presidential candidate? I don't want to get into that because God knows I seem to talk to such types every other day. Quite an honor, I might say. But having said that, would you have a strong position on earmarks?
On congressional earmarks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sort of lost the history. I was the first critic of congressional earmarks. I'm pretty sure I had the budget job in the 01, 2, and 3.
No, I know that, but Congressman Frank Wolf's here earlier says in some cases they're actually warranted, and he wouldn't be for a permanent ban. What say you?
Well, let me just say, I leave it to Congress how they want to do their business. I thought it was a very bad idea. I railed against it and failed completely. But let me just say, I think we pay too much attention to it. The fiscal problems facing this country won't be fixed by earmarks, and it's a little bit of a distraction to spend as much time as we do.
Okay. Governor, thank you very, very much. Always good seeing you.
Sure.